technology so that it remains relevant for the 20 years to come. And because we all know Moodle's been around for about 20 years, and there's lots of aspects of the platform that need a little bit of jazzing up. They haven't been touched for a long while. And we are saying with this statement that we are going to invest the time and the effort to make sure that those things are addressed, and that we want Moodle itself, the Moodle that you know and love, to be around for 20 years to come. The third key principle is mindful change. Yes, we are on a modernization journey, and we want to continue to evolve the platform to meet the needs of modern learners. However, as we do so, we cannot forget the needs of the existing hundreds of millions of people who use it every day. So when we change something, we have to do so in a balanced way and understand the impact of these changes to our existing users. And the fourth key principle is secure, accessible, and compliant. And at Moodle, those three words are non-negotiables. It may take us longer to do certain things. We might have to pay a little bit more in terms of development time to do certain things. But when we do things, we will make sure they are secure, they are accessible, and they meet compliance regulation for everything to do with data privacy, which is such an important topic at the moment. A couple of proof points for that. Moodle recently received Moodle LMS 4.0 and Moodle App 4.0 recently received accessibility accreditation, meaning that our 4-point-something version of Moodle is now accessible and meets all legal requirements. And we will continue that journey, and we are not very far off from being able to announce that version 4.1 and 4.2 will also be accredited. And then the other little proof points is that we are currently working on making Moodle 4.3 the most secure version of Moodle ever. And we have been implementing a number of new features over the last few weeks and months actually that will allow us to make that claim, including things like multi-factor authentication, which don't exist today at Moodle, but are coming in the 4.3 release. So we're really excited about those two commitments, and it is a real demonstration of our commitment to this principle. Now, I promised you a little sneak peek around what we mean when we talk about user focus. And this is actually the third sneak peek. It's not really the sneak peeks from later. But I wanted to show you very quickly, and if I'm clever, this is going to work. It did work. I wanted to invite you, please take a look at the URL at the top, moodle.org/experience lab. I wanted to invite you all and your users to join us as part of the Moodle Experience Lab. It's your opportunity to shape the future of Moodle with us and participate in research studies to help us build a better Moodle. You can sign up to the lab. We won't ask too many things. On the website, you will see everything that we might request, but it might involve designing Moodle with us, taking surveys, talking to our UX team, and testing new designs and ideas. Very easy, lovely team of people who manage the Experience Lab, and we'd love to have more people from the region as part of it, because the more of you there are on the Experience Lab, the more we can ensure your voices are heard when we develop the future of Moodle. So that's a little invitation from me. Okay. Now, talking about future development in more detail. All of our efforts over the next few months and probably few years will be centered around three key themes in terms of making Moodle better than it is today. The first one is harnessing creativity. And that's the concept that says, although currently, if you know what you're doing, if you have the technical expertise, you can do pretty much anything with Moodle. It has the flexibility and the ability to be able to be implemented in any which way. And that's wonderful, and we will never lose that. But when we talk about the divide, when we think about our manifesto, one of the great divides says that to get the best out of Moodle, by definition, you need some pretty advanced technical knowledge. We want to try and reduce that divide a little bit more and ensure that people who don't have deep technical knowledge can still get a really meaningful experience out of Moodle, making it easier to add content from more diverse sources, making it easier to shape the look and feel of your Moodle in any way which way you want, and making it easier to connect Moodle with other solutions. Now, that will never, replace the valuable services that our consultants and service organizations and partners around the world can offer, because there is a gap we will never be able to close in the product, but we want to be able to ensure that educators especially and their students have more power as to how they can use their Moodle and get more out of the solution out of the box. So that's the principle or theme number one. The second theme is fostering collaboration. And Moodle's already well known for being able to foster collaboration. We've got the wikis, and we've got the forums, and we've got Big Blue Button, video conferencing that's available. And basically, we just want to keep on going with that journey and offer more opportunities like VR to be implemented within the platform, and offer more ways that people can connect when they are learning together. But the other aspect of that is ensuring that Moodle is easier to use when it's playing with others. Moodle is never by itself sitting in a little system with no other systems around it. It's always connected to a number of different solutions, and also things like the plugins, which are such an important part of our total ecosystem. And at the moment, the way our web services, I'm going to get minorly technical, but the way our web services are built, often when something changes inside Moodle, the plugins need to be rewritten, or the integrations need to be rewritten, because we haven't structured what's called our API layers exactly the way we should. And we can make some changes there that will make changes in Moodle not necessarily break everything that's on the outside of it, and mean that maintenance, updates, and upgrades will be easier to manage in the future. And so that's the kind of investment that's not very sexy, because you can't see it on the front end, but it is really important work for the back end of the platform. So we are going to be focusing on that in the weeks and months to come, or I should say months and years to come. I wish we could do it in weeks. And then finally, the last pillar or the last theme is optimizing outcomes. And that's really what Moodle is all about, providing outstanding outcomes to the learners that use them, but also we want to ensure that we're optimizing the outcomes for all of our users. And a key part of that is the outcomes for our Moodle administrators. We want to ensure that we provide our administrative tools and simplify the platform itself so that it's easier to run, maintain, cheaper to host, and optimize its performance. That's one of the sub-themes to optimizing outcomes. We're also making some investments in some partnerships for advanced analytics. And we made a call that said, we're not going to be able to create all of the capability that you might need in the advanced analytics space internally in Moodle. And a little bit like we did with Big Blue Button, we said, we're not a virtual classroom expert or a VC expert. Let's partner with the right open source partner and create a seamless integration with that partner that adds the value that we want with our platform. So that's the next big partnership after a messaging, which is in the development now, which I'm going to talk about in a few seconds, will be in the analytics space. And then finally, we want to ensure that we can help in optimize outcomes for students, and we want to be able to give them more tools that might help them manage their time, manage their tasks, get proactive feedback more easily within the platform. And we anticipate that many of those tools will be AI driven, and of course optional for those people who want to use the AI technology within their platforms. So those are the three key development themes. Now we're going to get into the details. I'm showing you here, and I hope everyone can see them all the way on the back. I know the text is quite small, but we've got a lot to do and we're working really hard, so there's a lot of items on our roadmap. But I've got a few examples to go into detail here, but this is our current roadmap for, I would articulate, probably the 18 months to 2 years ahead at Moodle. A few highlights. You've got what's happening right now, and that means, when I say now, it means the work's actually in development, and you can expect for them to be released in either 4.3, or if we're not quite finished, it will come in 4.4. And then in the next column, the work is in design phase, or what we call at Moodle actually the discovery phase. What is it that we should be building? And depending on how far you are on the design journey, you can expect the things in the next column to either come out in 4.3, but not as certain as if it was in the now column, because we're still just discovering it, and we might discover that it's going to take us longer than we think. So it's often things that will fall into 4.3, and the 4.4, sorry, and then the later and later still, we don't know yet. We haven't defined that, and we won't know until we discover the work. So as you can see, a lot of focus at the moment in terms of ensuring that our course hierarchy and our activity cards, the design for those things are as optimal as possible, and those fit very much in that creativity theme that I was talking to you earlier, making sure that people can create beautiful and usable, intuitive Moodle courses within the platform itself. We are working very, very closely with community members at Open University to enhance the quiz and question bank functionality, and there's a lot of work going on in that, and you should be seeing, or you should have seen in 4.1, 4.2 some releases of that work, but there's still a lot more to come, and so that journey continues. And interestingly, quiz, just in case you didn't know, quiz is the #1 most used activity out in Moodle. And so it's very important that we invest the right amount of capacity and time to ensure it's the best that it can be. And there's a lot of work in that space. And then 2 more programs of work, outcomes, that are all about outcomes. The first one is a project that we are doing with the Moodle User Association. Every year we do 2 big projects as voted by our Moodle Users Association. The last one was the addition of bulk editing capability, which came out in 4.2. And the next one, which will be in 4.3, is the default course completion settings. So at a course level, you can set completion settings in bulk for your entire course. You don't have to do it activity for activity in the future. And it's a huge time saver for educators, and really a perfect example of optimizing outcomes for one of our groups of users. And then finally, we also are continuing to make great progress with the enhancements that we're making to Gradebook. This is going to be the last bunch of them that are coming out in 4.3. We had so many negative feedback from our users about the Gradebook, and so many things that they wanted us to improve. So over the last 6 or 7, 8 months, actually, we've been working very hard to address those pieces of feedback and make the Gradebook a lot more user-friendly. And I hope that you've been enjoying the progress that we've been making with it with 4.1 and 4.2. And then on the next section, you'll see the buzz letters of the day, AI. We are coming. Now, I must say, it's funny to talk about AI on the roadmap for Moodle, because Moodle is already AI ready. You can use AI with Moodle right now. There are at least 5 or 6 fantastic plugins, and I haven't looked lately, but there's a new one every day that you can find in the Moodle plugin directory that enables you to leverage the power of AI with Moodle right now. You can connect it with ChatGPT, with DALL-E, with OpenAI. It's all available. But we do realize that we want to make that integration a little bit more seamless and easier for users, so that if you don't know how to use a plugin, or if you're a Moodle Cloud customer where you don't actually have the ability to add a plugin, you still get the capability that AI brings. And the first space that we're really going to play in is leveraging the power of AI to help add to content creation within Moodle. So it fits within our creativity theme. I'm not going to read every card on the page, because or else I'll be here for 2 hours, but I do want to make another call out, which is the use. We are focusing on enhancing the use of LTI, or LTI external tools within the Moodle platform, providing educators themselves more power to be able to add LTI tools and choose and configure them for themselves within their own courses will be our first cab off the rank. And on that, I've got a very special sneak peek. Hopefully I can make it play. It's a little video from one of our UX designers, and she will be talking you through some of the very early design and changes that we're making to the LTI external tools. No one's seen this outside of Moodle HQ yet, so sneak preview number 1. Here we go.
In LTI, just because we are actually relocating the configuration.
I'm going to start her so we can actually hear her introduce herself. I hope this works.
Just share my screen.
Okay. The share my screen moment. Don't we all love
Okay,
those?
so can you guys see my screen? Okay, so once again, thanks to the PX team for all their help. My name is Barbara, and I'm UX designer for the Alpha team. And so we're starting off with the user tour for the LPI, just because we are actually relocating the configuration for configuration management of LPI. We're going to be putting it on the more menu, and so it would be good to give emphasis on where the new location is. Also, the new change is like, well, this is still work in progress, but the idea is that on the activity chooser, you won't be able to see the LPI external tool here, just because it doesn't really allow you to configure it completely. And so there is no point, and it's a massive detour for you to just in the mindset of creating activity only to end up configuring the tool. So the LTI tool will not show up here unless it's been pre-configured. So I'm going to start off now with the configuration. So I go to the external tool, and for now we don't have any external tool, so this is our sort of like zero state, and so we're going to be adding a tool here. And for now I'm just here showing you how to configure an LPI 1.1 version. And so from here you could then once you've saved it, then it brings you to this page where you can manage it. Previously, as Neil mentioned, you would have to pretend to create an LPI tool to be able to see what's available and to be able to modify it as well. So that's no longer the case, at least for this proposal. And I just wanted to show you how you could actually, there's a different flow for version 1.3, just because this one previously needs, or the current behavior needs admin intervention. So now with 1.3, we're allowing teachers to do it by themselves. Of course, this depends on their capabilities. So for now, they can have access to all this information and then copy paste this to the tool to establish the link between the platform and the tool. Also, now that we have created this, configure this, when we go to the activity chooser, you will now then see this example of LTI, which is called Soundtire. And so when you click on this activity, then you are just focused on the activity creation. There's no more detour here. There's nothing about the tool configuration. And that's the end of the journey for this prototype. You know what happens when you create an activity, then you'll be able to see it on your course page or see it on the LPI page itself. That's it for me. Any questions?
Okay, so I hope that was an interesting sneak peek, and really what's at the essence of this is you no longer need to engage your administrator. If you're an educator, you don't need to engage your administrator to say, hey, I'd like access to this LTIT tool. You can do so directly from within the course page, choose your tool yourself, and add that functionality to your Moodle course. Now, as administrators, if you want to disable that functionality, of course, we will still enable that, but the recommendation would be to open that up to your educators and give them more power to shape the kinds of courses that they want to shape within Moodle. So that was the sneak peek number 1. My second sneak peek is all about our activity card redesign. And I will tell you, we had quite a few people tell us they didn't love our new icons in the version 4 of Moodle. And I kind of have to agree with them. I'm allowed to say that because that decision was made before I started in my job. So we have taken that feedback really to heart. And another piece of feedback that we've taken to heart is the fact that people are saying that with the activity card design that we have in Moodle, they're quite thick, each activity card, so it creates a very long courses that you have to scroll through quite a lot to get through. So two big, really important pieces of feedback from our community. We've listened and we've been working on a redesign to further enhance them. You're not losing any of the new functionality that came with Moodle 4.0 or 4.1 or 4.2 with this, but we're tweaking the look and feel of it, and we're reintroducing some key functionality that is really important for educators. So you can see here, this is a Figma prototype, it's not real Moodle, or even QA Moodle, so there's only a few buttons that work on it. But you can see I'm in edit mode at the moment, and I'm in an educator role. And this is what the new look and feel of the cards looks like. So you can see a different approach to our icons, which is simpler and cleaner. And the reintroductions of valuable information, I'm going to scroll all the way down, like the type of file. So this is a PDF file, and if it was an Excel, it would show with Excel on it as well. So the type of file is being reintroduced in the icon in a really elegant way. You can also tell from this, and this is a fairly long course with a lot of content, that the activity cards are a lot thinner than they used to be. And they're even thinner in a world where they have a lot of information in them. So importantly, we have ensured that all of the information that you need to access about an activity is in the card, but the card itself can be shrunk and expanded so that it's not taking that much space within the page. You will also see that we've re-added the ability to manage groups from the activity cards itself, but we've done so in a much more elegant manner that used to be available in previous versions of Moodle. So as an educator, I can see which groups can see my activity directly on the card. I can also manage all of my, all of my completion activities. So I can see very clearly what are the completion activities required for this activity. The student must view the activity and make an entry. And directly from the card, I can edit these requirements. So I don't have to exit and then edit these requirements and then come back in again. So I can do that directly from the card. So you can see here, for example, I can make the changes I need to. I'll save and return and close. And the same thing is with groups, actually. So directly from the card, I can go to group mode, and I can change whatever it is that I want to change and change the type of group that I want to see. So again, directly from the card. The other place where that is also done is in terms of visibility. So you can see we've changed the way we display who can see the activity, and also when that they can see it, so that the time period for the activity, we've changed the way it looks. It's much cleaner and simpler, but importantly, you can change your settings directly into the card if you need to, and also through the extended menu here, it will take you to where you need to be. And then finally, as I was saying, shrink and expand, but even here, directly from the card, you can go to edit, settings. I've got to find the right one. This is the fun part with Figma. Yes, you can go to edit settings for visibility directly from the card. Again, you don't have to navigate out and then come back in to adjust your settings as required. So lots of great improvements to the activity cards themselves, more functionality within the card without adding weight to the card, thinning out the card, and importantly, and this is a really, little thing, but people really care about icons. Number one, you'll notice that the activity name is no longer on the card. You can pop it, you can see it when you hover your mouse over the icon. And then number two, we have added a whole new suite of outcomes, which we believe are much nicer than the ones that we see in 4.0, 1 and 2. So this is all coming in 4.3, and we really hope that you'll enjoy these changes. And then I do want to highlight, these are all of the elements that you can see here on our roadmap that are experience enhancers. We also have a few technical enablers. I won't go into many of them, but I will talk about two that are coming up next. The first one is further integration with MoodleNet, allowing you to export a full course out of Moodle into MoodleNet. And there's some real elegance in that because we're thinking about how we use the same systems and frameworks to better improve our rollovers and backup and course restores. And then the other one, which is a really exciting one for us, it's our next big integration partnership, is the introduction of an integration with Matrix. And Matrix is an open source, modern messaging platform. It will help us enhance the messaging capabilities that you can have within Moodle, bringing them up to par with the modern messaging technologies of today and tomorrow. And not only that, this integration is with Matrix because Moodle's open source and Matrix is open source, but the API that we're building should make it easier to integrate Moodle with any messaging platform. And the next one off the ranks is Microsoft Teams, which we know is highly popular and in use within our customer base. And so final thing from me, I want to invite you to come and see me in Barcelona, and not just me, the rest of the Moodle community too. We have our Moodlemoot Global, which is occurring again this year in Barcelona. Next year it'll be in a different country, and I'm not allowed to tell you where, but I think I already know. We are going to be there from the 18th of September to the 21st of September. The first day is going to be a super fun jam day. We're going to have a dev jam day, a UX jam day, and a learning design jam day. So 3 different themes, and it's the first time we're doing the UX and learning design. We usually always do the dev jams. And then during the conference, there's presentations by 100 people. There'll be a presentation very much like this one from me, but I am one of dozens and dozens of presenters at the conference. We'll have workshops, we'll have panel discussions, and very importantly, we'll have the best party of the year at the Moodle party on the Wednesday night. So please join us, and I really hope to see you in Barcelona. So thank you so much for your time. I hope you thought that was useful.
Thank you very much, Ms. Maria Shu, for that wonderful talk. So at this point, as you said, the floor is now open for the Q&A. For those who would like to ask a question, please approach the microphone in front of you and introduce your name first and your institution before stating your question. So do we have any question on the floor? For those people at the back?
Please don't be shy. Oh, I see a hand
Okay.
up.
Yes, sir. Please approach the microphone.
Okay, good morning. I'm Mr. Ezekiel Lozano from Ateneo de Naga University, and it's good to see you in person, Miss Marie. I just have a question regarding the UI or user interface and experience of students. Basically, there are questions or suggestions coming from our students. As an admin myself, it's very hard to modify the interface. Very limited functionalities in terms of changing the interface unless you have other themes. You need to install themes. So most of the questions and suggestions from students would be, is there a way to provide a dark mode functionality? Because screen time, students have difficulty looking at the screen for long duration of hours.
Yeah.
So that would be my question.
So you definitely, as an institution, you can choose to install a plugin that would enable that tomorrow. And so I definitely invite you to look for that in your solution. But the other thing I might answer a little bit more long term, which is to say one of the key elements in our aspiration to support creativity is to introduce a new theme to Moodle, and it will be a much more free-form theme that doesn't necessarily have all of the constraints that our current theme has, where it's very structured. You know, you've got the 2 things on the side and the course in the middle, and you can only do certain things with the tabs at the top. The freeform theme will provide the user with a lot more power in terms of how they want to shape the look and feel of their course, and that includes the student, and a lot more capability in terms of just drag and drop functionality, color pickers, changes like that the person can do on their own. So as a student, if they don't like where the calendar block is, they could move it. Or if they would like an extra functionality that isn't configured for them, they could add it. Or if they want their screen to be dark, they could change that as well. So that's coming in later, but there are definitely ways today to enhance your implementation and adjust the dark mode as well through plugin offers.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Any other question? All right, so yes, sir, can you please approach the mic, and please don't forget to introduce your name and your institution.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. Good morning, everybody. And so, I'm from PMMA, and I was introduced to Moodlemoot way back 2017, and I can say that this is a very good platform for teaching technical subjects. However, I'm just wondering if Moodle also would try to improve later on that the platform to be able to check essay questions, because as far as we know, nobody had ever invented some platform or apps to correct or to assess essay questions.
Yeah, yeah.
But as of now, we have AI, right? So do you have something on that?
100%. And actually, so our first foray into AI will be very much focused on content creation. But the second foray, we have done a piece of research on Moodle and AI, and we've asked, I think there was at least 200 something people who responded, and I invite you to look for it. It's available, the research outcomes are available on Moodle.org. If you search AI research in your Moodle.org toolbar, you'll be able to find it. And one of the key findings from that research was that what people are most interested in when it comes to AI is actually how do we remove mundane tasks from their day-to-day. And simple grading based on a matrix or something like that is one of those things, exactly to your question. So we also are investigating different tools that we could make available optionally. We're very conscious that there are many countries who don't accept AI at all. Like in Italy, for example, you can't use it. So if we put it by default in Moodle, no one in Italy can use Moodle. So we've got to be very careful about how we do it. But as an option, a tool that you may then be able to implement that would support things like mundane grading tasks is next on our agenda. So first we're looking at content creation, mostly because it's actually the simplest path. And then next we're looking at tools that reduce the effort required for mundane tasks. So absolutely on the agenda. Thanks for the question, it was a good one.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Marie.
Good morning.
Bernard,
Nice to
yesterday.
see you. Yes.
So, my question is more of what can we expect more on using scoreboard packages?
Right.
Right. So
Yes.
it's very crucial when it comes to the works that you have before, and when you are changing platforms, internet platforms. Right. So my question is about normally creating course packages normally use go through slides, right? The presentation slides. But I wonder when I integrate their interactive questions, how can I put it from our question bank?
Yeah. So some of the improvements that we're working on now with, as I was saying earlier, we're doing a lot of work with quiz and question bank with open universities. And that's all of the use of how we can better leverage question bank as a content bank is actually part of that agenda. SCORM particularly, we're not as focused on. We have some enhancements coming in with H5P functionality, and as I was showing earlier, a lot more integration with LTI tools. But we've never been, as far as I know, we've never been known to be that indexed towards the SCORM framework, largely because it doesn't always integrate well with other parts of Moodle. Not that it's not possible, and we see beautiful implementations of Moodle with it in there. But right now on our agenda, it's very much continuing to improve our integration with HFP, LTI external tools, and as I was saying, how do we better leverage the content bank and the question bank as a source of content for your courses. So that's on the agenda right now.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, by the way, I'm from Ames.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for the question. Do we have other questions on the floor? Yes, sir. Can you please approach the microphone, please?
Next. Thank you everyone for your questions. They've all been good. I'm a little nervous because I've only been working at Moodle for like 18 months, and I'm sure one of you at least will ask me a question I don't know the answer to, but we'll see.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Wilben from the Mariana Marcos State University.
Hello.
We've been a Moodle user for 10 years now, and we've been into enhancing developments on the Moodle platform. And we have also started building plugins. Now my question is, how could Moodle help us or support us in our plugin development endeavors?
Yes. So I love that question because it is again an element of our roadmap. We have been thinking about how do we improve the functionality of the plugin directory itself, so that it's easier to use for people who want to find it, but also is a richer source of insight for people developing plugins. So that's path number one. But the other path is that we are thinking about looking at establishing a bit more of a marketplace for our plugins. Very simple system that again would be optional for the plugin developers, but if they want to have an option to sell their plugins to other Moodle users, that they could do so through a marketplace that would be kind of hosted and sponsored by Moodle, and allowing those people to earn a, tiny little bit of income or a lot. It just really depends on them. The decision would be in the hands of the people who create the plugins, and offer them an opportunity to make a bit of a sustainable effort out of creating plugins, because we know that that time doesn't come for free, and we want to better enable people to do more plugin development. And that's useful if you can make a few dollars every time somebody downloads your plugins. That can help you ensure that you can continue your development. So that is also on our agenda. It's not just next. You might have seen it on the roadmap in the later column, but we are looking at it.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
For your information, Mr. Wilben is actually our speaker for this year and last year. All right, so thank you very much, sir, for that question. Any other question on the floor? Yes, sir. Can you please approach the microphone?
Hi, Mary. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm Reynolds from the UP Open University. And you mentioned earlier that AI-based plugins are not available by default, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and if we want to install them, how can we get hold of them?
So they are available from the plugin directory, which is on moodle.org/plugins, I think, or just go to moodle.org and it's right on the front page. You'll see a little button that says plugin. Once you're in there, you can do a search. Usually if you search for AI, a few of them will come up. And last time I searched, I think I found 4 or 5, but I don't think I searched very well, because sometimes you kind of have to dig a little bit. That's why we need to improve the directory, because sometimes the search function can be a little tricky. But once you're there, I found at least 4 or 5. You then download that plugin, access it, and then you work with, whether it's yourself or your Moodle administrator, to implement it in your instance of Moodle.
All right, and I have 2 more questions.
That's fine.
My second question, so sorry for my so many questions.
He's there. He's going to take the floor, people.
All right, just kidding. Yeah, my second question is, because we are into developing also our plugins, and these are actually AI-based plugins.
Yes.
Yeah, and if we want to, to communicate or to contact someone from Moodle or from your end, whom should we contact?
Yeah. So, and is it for questions or?
I'm just asking if there is some sort of support or someone
Yeah.
that we can contact.
So there's two different kind of answers to the question. The first one I would recommend is joining the plugin forum in Moodle.org. There's a lot of interaction, and we do have quite a lot of back and forth on that forum, so it looks like you're familiar with that. There's also, we have a certified integration program, so depending on the nature of your plugin, and we can organize for actually it to be recognized as a certified integration with Moodle, and I can find you later and give you the exact name of the person to reach out to if you'd like, if that's of interest to you. And then the last one is sometimes a really good way to get some feedback on your plugins to submit it for a review, because one of our developers is going to pick it up and start communicating with you on that plugin and help you with its development. So those are the three paths.
All right, that's a great idea. Thank you. And because my teammate is quite shy to ask and to come here. Yeah. Go on.
Oh, hi.
His name is RJ. When is Moodle 4.3 going to be released?
Excellent question. I didn't say that earlier. I meant to. October 24th, 25th, at the very end of October. You will notice we have, over the last 2 or 3 releases, we are very strict with our release time frames. They come out pretty much 6 months on the line, and exactly when we say we will on the release page. We've kind of made a decision that says it's better to release on time and potentially change the scope of the release than to release late, because people build their plans around it and it can be quite disruptive. So 4.3 coming out last week, or just the end of the October, the second half of October.
Thank you so much, Marie.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question, sir. So do we have other questions from the people at the back? Or in front? Or at the sides? All right, so there being no more question on the floor, we will now be moving to express our gratitude to our dear speaker. I would like to call on stage the PhilaWeb Technologies President and CEO, Ms. Cheryl Villarreman, to present the Certificate of Appreciation, which reads, the PhilaWeb Technology Incorporated presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Ms. Maria Shu in grateful recognition of sharing her invaluable knowledge and experience to the participants of the Moodlemoot Philippines 2023, given the 7th day of July 2023, held at the Century Park Hotel, Manila, signed by Michelle R. Villarreman, President and Chief Executive Officer of the PhilaWeb Technology. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause please for Ms. Marie Shu.